I'm Coach Pri. I help experienced product managers and leaders fast track their product management career, increase their income and impact, and do that without stress and overwhelm.
And in this video, I'm going to share 9 ways to help you become a more effective leader. So let's jump right in. So now we're jumping to the C of the ICE framework. And the first C is to create trust and safety, emotional safety in your team through clear and transparent communication. So let's talk more about this. So something I've learned about trust in just this last couple of years, I'd say, is that trust is not built in sort of big gestures, but rather it's built in the small everyday tasks and behaviors that we show each other every day. What this means for you as a leader is that how you show up for your team member. Are you on time for your one-on-ones? Are you doing what you said you would do if you were going to find out about that training and get back to them next week? Did you actually do that and get back to them next week? If you were going to help them with their personal development goals, did you set aside time to do that? So it is these little pebbles in the jar, like how Brené Brown describes it, how trust is built. And so there is no grand gesture at the end of the year that's going to earn you your employee trust. So put in the work from the beginning and consistently, and you will build that trust. The other thing is communication. And I can't say enough about more transparent communication, more clear communication, communicating what is expected, what is okay and what is not okay, setting the boundaries. So this is a complex topic. And again, books have been written about it. But learning to communicate clearly is a key part of your job as a leader. And when we think about creating trust and safety, one more thing that you can do is actually trust your team members to do a great job at whatever they are assigned. They were hired for a reason, and you do not need to micromanage them. It actually saves you time, and you can do more vision and strategy work that you love as a leader. So do you really trust your team? Are you having challenges with that? In that case, go do that personal development work so that you are able to better trust your team, let them do their job. And yes, you're always here for mentorship, for guidance, for questions, for support. And also you're here to brainstorm what to do when things go wrong. But it's amazing what people can do when they are trusted to do their job right. One fact about human psychology is that the ratio of how we absorb positive to negative feedback is actually approximately 7-1. And what that means is for every 7 positive things that we hear, that is sort of equivalent to 1 negative thing that we hear. What that means for us as leaders is if we want to communicate some critical or negative feedback, we also need to be careful to consistently, not just in that one-on-one performance review meeting, but consistently in our one-on-one calls, communicate that appreciation, that amazing achievement, all the good work and the effort that your team member or employee is putting in and has been putting in, acknowledge and applaud that, and also elevate that, we'll talk about that in a minute, to senior management when needed. So that when you come to them with the critical feedback, their psychology, their brain is mentally ready for it. Like, I'm good at a lot of things, but yeah, there's a few things that my manager's about to tell me that I'm kind of not very good at and I need to really get better at. And the reason why critical feedback often lands so badly on employees is because that balance of the positive feedback is often non-existent, and managers are not trained to do that. Leaders are not taught to do that. So that's something I encourage you to do, that consistent appreciation, so that the critical feedback becomes way more easier for your employees to absorb and learn from.
Are you an experienced product manager or product leader struggling with any part of the job search process and want to land your next role faster? If that's you, don't hesitate to book a complimentary 15-minute brainstorm call on my calendar using the link in the description below. So go ahead, pause this video, and take that first step towards fast-tracking your product career. Now that you've booked a call, I want you to know my PM Level Up group coaching program, where I'm bringing together a number of experienced product managers and leaders to learn from each other and up-level our PM and interview skills.
So the next C stands for cultivating a diverse team and cultivating a culture of inclusion and belonging where everybody feels included, irrespective of their educational, cultural, social, religious, or any other type of background. So how can you create this amazing, diverse, and inclusive team? One thing I want to share about this topic is that it matters how and where you source your candidates from. I've often seen that some employers will accept resumes only from certain locations, or if it is sourced through maybe a vendor in some cases, then the vendors are very specific and only source certain types of candidates. And so when your pipeline of candidates, your set of resumes that you're reviewing itself is not diverse, then you're not going to be able to hire diverse candidates and you're not going to meet your diversity statistics. So top of the funnel sort of resume review process, that's where you need to think about diversity and then continue to think about it throughout the hiring process. Another thing I'll share for team building is volunteering as a team. There's just something amazing about when you're doing something great for the community together. Maybe you're building some housing project for the homeless, or you're packing food for people, whatever it might be. But it is really this act of goodness that you're also having fun doing and learning about each other and helping each other and doing something sort of beyond your day-to-day office work and for the greater good that has an impact on how employees feel about each other. And I know this is hard in a virtual setting. So if you have a virtual team, offsites are an invaluable way to bring your team together. You might do it once a month, once a quarter, whatever your budget might be. Besides offsites, and if they're not an option, then virtual team building events or even virtual volunteering is a possibility that you can consider for your team building efforts. The third C stands for creating a support system for your employees. So these could be your direct reports, but they could also be people managers who report to you if you are, let's say, a director of product or a director of programs. So how can you create this support system? One way that you can create this support system is through clear process of onboarding, right? Where what is the 30-day, 60-day, 90-day plan for this employee who just got hired? Besides the direct manager, is there a mentor or buddy in the team that can be assigned to them that they can go to if they have questions? Also, is there a more formal mentor? And good companies often have strong mentorship programs. So can they also be assigned a mentor who's not junior, who's kind of at the same level as you, the leader or their manager, but is not their manager, is in another team and has no conflict of interest? Can this mentor also be a source of support when the employee is maybe finding something confusing, frustrating, challenging in this new team? So those are just some ways that you can support your new employees. Now, when you're thinking about those employees that report to you who are themselves people managers and how do you support them better, right? And how do you create a support system for them? Make sure that they have access to leadership training, leadership coaching, books, internal programs, external programs, any resources to help them build their leadership muscles. Another thing that I've seen can be problematic is the size of how many people report to them. Maybe if they're a new people manager, there can be just, 3 to 4 people reporting to them instead of 6 or 7 people reporting to them at the same time. because it is a struggle balancing people management and your day-to-day responsibilities as a leader of any sort, because your work doesn't go away and you still need to get your work done. So how do you balance that for your team and support them is going to be key in helping them succeed. The C stands for create trust and safety, create a support system, and cultivate a diverse team with a culture of inclusion and belonging.
Now that we've covered the 3 C's for effective leadership, don't forget to join me in the next video where we'll cover the 3 E's for effective leadership, which are elevate your team, energize your team, and eliminate stress for them and for you. But before you move on to watching the last part of this 3-part video series on effective leadership, I want you to know my PM Level Up group coaching program, where I'm bringing together a number of experienced product managers and leaders to learn from each other and up-level our PM and interview skills. I'm Coach Pri. I help experienced product managers and leaders fast-track their product management career, increase their income and impact, and do that without stress and overwhelm. Thanks for watching.